Hi guys, welcome back to PhotoBite. I'm Josh.
And I'm Luke.
Today we're going to be checking out the brand new LUMIX S5. Let's get into it. I'll be back.
What we're going to do first, we're going to look into photo and understand why this camera is such a good at being a hybrid. So it's good for photo and it's good for video, but let's start off with the photo. Now, to go through some of the specs, we're looking at a 24 megapixel full frame sensor in what is relatively a small body. Now, this camera isn't looking to replace a model. If anything, it's looking to sit under the current S1 that Lumix have already brought out, which is quite a large camera, and this is designed to be lightweight, portable, and just a bit easier to move around. And it comes with a very nice lens, which is the 20 to 60. Now, I'm so used to saying 24 to 70, 24-105. It's kind of nice to seeing a 20 to 60, so we're getting wider angles, and we're just losing a bit of throw when it comes to zoom, but overall, a really good lens. Back to the camera, we're rocking dual card slots, which is fantastic, so you can have that set up however you like. And what's also really nice is the fact that we actually have a decent sized battery, so we'll be able to get plenty of runtime out of these. Photo wise, we're going to get quite a few shots, in about 600, maybe even push 800, depending how we have the settings set up. But overall, we're just going to go out, we're going to play with it, we're going to talk you through some of the features and explain to you why this camera could be on your wish list. So one of the lovely features about the S5 is if you've run with an S1 before, all the buttons are on the outside and they're very well placed in my opinion. So on the top you actually have white balance, ISO and exposure compensation all in a row. So you haven't got like a button over here, a button over there. It's all neatly laid out, which is something we never really saw with other cameras. They just kind of put a button where they had a space for one, and they also make a big red button for recordings. But if you're just going photo, you can just use the main shutter. Now, other features I like as well, although it is awkward if you're staring at the back of the screen, you won't see it, but if you look down, you can also see where your focusing system is. So if you're on single autofocus, continuous, or manual, you just flip the switch on top. And then in the middle, you have a button so you can change what kind of autofocus mode that you want. So intuitively, it's very easy to use, and having used it for a short period of time, I've already adjusted to how it's working. And to be honest with you, once you know how it works, this is going to be a very simple camera to use and a very simple camera to understand. And you're going to hear that word a lot today, which is simple, because that's what this camera is. It's basically called a simple 5, because it's a simple camera and it does more than 5 things. So some of the other nice features of the S5 is also called 6K photo, which is using the entire sensor and giving you high resolution imagery. Now, you wouldn't so much use this for video, even though they're using the term 6K, which is technically 24 megapixels. What they're basically telling you is you can get 30 frames per second photos out of the S5, which is arguably very good, especially coming from a full frame sensor. Now, some of the other nice features that you have is also the ability to have a flip out screen, so you can hide that away. The lovely EVF, which is fantastic to use, and the autofocus is just bang on. You can go from something in the distance to something really up close and it just goes beep, 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 and there's no issue, there's no hunting, it just clicks and it's on. So the focusing is actually really good, it's very, very accurate. When you go from anything very far to up close, it locks on almost instantaneously. However, if you shrink that focus point, it does seem to hunt a little bit because you're making it focus on something very small and very particular, so it's working a bit harder. But if you give it a bit more variety, if you have like say just this area in that sort of focus, it locks on pretty much every time. And so far, just walking around and using it, I'm experiencing no focusing issues whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm rolling, and I got that.
So as well as having a vari-angle screen, which by the way is very, very nice, also very sturdy as well. But one of the nice things is the fact that it's also touchscreen. And what this means is you can actually move around the autofocus point. So rather than using the joystick that it comes with, which is okay, it's actually rather rapid. So if you want to be a bit more quicker, or you know where you need to get from one side to the other, you can just use your thumb. And the nice feature is when you turn it in like this, and you're basically trying to get focus, you can actually set it so you can move it with your thumb. Now, arguably I don't like that feature because if you have a nose like mine, it tends to touch the screen, so you could set it off, so I currently have it turned off. But it is a feature that you can use, but most of the time, if you're looking at the screen, you can just move it around with your thumb, get it in focus, and take the picture. And it's that simple.
Vlogging! How stable is it for vlogging? Body stabilization. Oh, yeah. Not too bad. Vlogging! How stable is it for vlogging? It's not too shabby. I like
It
it.
does have 5-axis image body stabilization, so
5-axis image body stabilization. Oh, yeah. Not too bad.
You or the camera?
Well, I have quite shaky hands, so having something with quite a bit of stabilization in it is very handy. Say hi, Rob.
But yeah, as mentioned, you're looking at 5-axis image body stabilization, which is fantastic for video when we get into that later. But when it comes to photo, what it means is you can stop down to really low exposures and you can remain handheld without needing to fetch a tripod or having to balance it precariously on a rock or any other flat surface for that matter. So overall, the camera is really good. It's great for photo. The JPEGs are lovely and vibrant. So if that's something that's very important to you, looking at very sharp lenses, it's running on the L series mount, so you're looking at Leica glass, Sigma glass, as well as Panasonic glass, all encapsulated in one mount system. So at the moment you do have a small variety of lenses that you can choose from. However, if you are a wildlife photographer, there aren't so many zoom lenses available. The best you have is a 70-200 last time we checked, and also 70-300 by Leica. So we are expecting to see more lenses coming out, although to be honest with you, when they did announce it back in 2017, we'd kind of expect to see a few more lenses by now. So hurry up guys, there's 3 of you, surely you can come up with something by now. I mean, you've got an abundance of technologies and you've got people that have lovely cameras and they're just waiting on the lenses now. So overall, photo, it's got a thumbs up from me. Also, you'll be seeing the JPEGs as they're coming up, but right now it's time to head over to the video side.
Thank you very much. So the S5 is a 4K 60 frames per second camera with 10-bit vlog, which is absolutely fantastic for those colour nutters out there like myself. It can record up to 180 frames per second in 1080p, and it does have a promised 5.9K HDMI out RAW feature coming soon potentially, so that's something extra to look forward to. So yeah, I did get the opportunity on the first day of having this. We took it out and shot a video in a style that I've never shot before. So I'm going to put some of this footage in the video right here. At 30 frames per second in 4K, the camera is 10-bit 422. At 4K 60 frames per second, it is only 420 10-bit, but it's still really, really great codec to work with, and especially with the 10-bit. I found using the camera practically was absolutely brilliant. It's really easy to work with. Once you kind of get used to it a little bit, it's fantastic. Everything was there, all the tools I needed were straight in front of me. So the camera does feature a vertical option. Just point the camera vertically and start recording, and it'll automatically turn into a vertical video, which is great for mobile phone videos if you're into that kind of thing. And the slow-mo on this camera is absolutely fantastic. Autofocus slight issues aside, it does look great. It's really smooth. There's no artifacting, no horribleness really there. Tracks the full body. Now come back, come back. Oh, I lost him there. No body. Now it's picking up. Now it's got his eye. That's really strange. Sometimes it's working perfectly, that autofocus, and sometimes it just really isn't.
That's weird.
Yeah,
I think it lacks consistency then.
With the kit lens, is the focus is working a lot better with the kit lens compared to energy. Yeah, that's really peculiar. Yeah. But that's working fantastically well. I mean, go back and forth several times really quickly. Now come back. Yeah, that's working great. Go back again. The autofocus, however, was a little bit funky. Depending on what I was shooting and what settings. I was playing around with it a lot, and I find it tracks better when you've got it faster and you're not filming in vlog. And I think there's just a few little bugs and kinks really there that just need fixing and solving, and yeah, for practical use. So we've got some examples here of us playing around with the autofocus. So yeah, when he does move quickly backwards and forwards on the normal just stock setting, it is a little bit slow to catch up with him. However, we did find boosting that up really made it a lot sharper, a lot quicker. It would react to me popping in right there a bit faster. The way this camera records is absolutely fantastic. Just straight out of the box on a really no picture profile at all. The footage looks great. We've got a shot here of us using the vlog. just with lots of different highlights and bits and bobs. And yeah, the dynamic range on this camera is absolutely fantastic, even in the standard no picture profiles. Got some lovely lens flares as well. So yeah, this camera does put out an absolutely gorgeous image. It's a shame a little bit that the stabilization built into the camera leaves a little bit to be desired. I have seen it better in other cameras, especially with the 2.8 24 to 70mm we were using didn't have any optical stabilization built into the lens. So yeah, the autofocus on this camera is a little bit questionable. I see where it's going and I see it has so much potential, and when I did use it practically on set and using it, the full body worked well. We were in a slightly underlit environment. It was a difficult environment. I did find that I was having to switch a lot between manual and auto, and it would lose tracking here and there, and I was doing a lot of movements with the camera, so it held up relatively well compared to, you know, regular autofocus systems. It's not really something I use a massive amount, but when I do use that gimbal work, I do need a good autofocus, and I did find this falling a little bit short on that. With that said, it has so much potential. Maybe a few updates, maybe a few little tweaks to that autofocus system will really bring this camera to life for me on a gimbal.
Kind of a funny thing, you now got to mention thanks to Canon that the camera doesn't overheat.
Yeah, every single video now we have to mention the camera doesn't overheat or does overheat, which is nuts. Yeah, this you can use all day. It's great. Get yourself a couple of extra batteries just to get for a full day of shooting. Luke, what do you think of the camera? Would you recommend it?
Photo wise, it's fantastic. It's very easy to use, very intuitive. It doesn't have many lackluster features, however the continuous shutter could have been a bit higher. It is a bit low, but overall a very good camera and fantastic for most photo users out there.
Personally, for video, I think it's absolutely gorgeous. It produces such a clean and lovely image that's really easy to work with, especially with the 422 10-bit on at 4K 30 frames per second. It's an absolute workhorse of a camera. I really enjoyed working with this on the shoot, and yeah, I think it's definitely a great opportunity, or someone for a new someone to use. If you don't have a setup before, or you have the GH5 systems, this is a great camera to go to. Let me start that. Shit, let's do that again.
Yeah, just round it off. You've already covered it, just round it off.
But yeah, I think it's an absolutely fantastic camera. It's really great workhorse. Produces such a clean and lovely cinematic image, and I would recommend it to any videographer, cinematographer. And with that said, yes.
Yeah. This has been PhotoBite. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. I've been Luke.
I've been Josh.
And we'll see you next time.
Take care.